everyone, welcome to Sweet Tomato Vine Homestead. I'm Linda. Today I'm in the garden and we are expecting some colder temperatures. We're expecting some lows of 34 here, and I'm going to go ahead and get some of the work done that I want to get done before those cold temps set in. One thing I want to get done is to plant a persimmon tree. I planted a persimmon tree a couple of years ago. It did good, but I think it succumbed to either the drift or to the cold. Persimmons are usually cold hardy, so I think mostly what happened to it was that it got caught up in that drift. But I'm going to go ahead and plant another persimmon tree today because I do love the taste of those delicious fruit that they bear. I'm also going to be giving you some updates on some things inside the house, and if we have time, I'm going to go ahead and drop in some bulbs because I really need to go ahead and get all my bulbs planted. So let's go ahead and get started. And this is my persimmon tree right here. It still has its leaves, although persimmon trees are a deciduous plant. This Fuyu persimmon still has some leaves on it. But I'm going to go ahead and put it into the ground and hope that it can get established the rest of this fall and through the winter and spring, and then be ready to bear me some fruit when the weather warms back up. And this is the spot that I have chosen to put my persimmon tree. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dig a hole right here. There's a lot of leaves down here because we had big storms last night. But all that rain that we got is gonna help me with my digging, because this spot is very soft right now. Fall is the perfect time to go ahead and plant your deciduous trees, your fruit trees. Go ahead and get those plants in the ground so they can get established over the fall and winter. Another thing that I think may have caused my persimmon tree not survive is that I had the persimmon tree in a container. So it's a little harder for those container plants to survive outside during those cold months, because we did have a Arctic freeze that year, and so that could have also played a part in why my persimmon tree did not survive, because I did not put it in ground. And remember, you want your tree planted in ground the depth that it was inside of the pot. You don't want to go too deep, but you also don't want any of your top part of your root ball sticking out of the hole. But you also want to make sure, you want to be sure not to cover up the graft union. And that is this part right here where you see that knot in your plant. That is your graft union. So you don't want to make sure, you want to make sure that you do not cover that up. This is your graft union right here. You do not want to cover this up, soil. So now I'm just going to drop this container into this hole to make sure that it's going to be above this spot. I'm going to go ahead, put a little bit of the soil back in here, just a little. I'm gonna add some fertilizer to the hole, and what I'm using is what I got on sale, y'all. If you look at your local stores to see, for some reason they always put this Dr. Earth on sale, on clearance, and so I've been able to pick up some of these Dr. Earth on clearance. It was what was the least expensive. But I did go ahead and order some more of my tried and true Espoma bone meal and blood meal. I did go ahead and do that again, so maybe our delivery people will get my products to me this time. So we're gonna see. Okay, so now check out this root ball. Don't see any root boundness in this. You can see that the soil is falling from around this plant really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop it in and just put my soil back in. So this was an easy one because of the fact that it had been raining and that this soil was loose, and it did not take much. Y'all didn't need it to take much, because I'm telling y'all, when y'all be out here pulling, make sure you take precautions. Don't overdo it, because when I pulled those okra trees out, y'all, I overdid it. I had to take a few days break from that. I couldn't even get my fingers to do this. I was so they couldn't do that. Because I had pulled something in my arm. But I'm back. But yeah, you just have to take care. You have to be very careful when you're out, because you can be wanting to get the work done so bad that you be overdoing it. And that is what I did. Okay, you want to be sure, get your soil in here, back around your tree. And this is where I'm going to getting these boots nice and muddy, because I'm going to have to go ahead and I'm going to tamp this soil in around the root ball of this plant, because I don't want any air pockets in here, because I want this plant to get established. I don't want it to go and shop and be out here suffering when these cold temps come in. I want it to feel right at home out here in this garden and be ready to make some fruit. Like I saw over in the Bull's garden. The Bull's persimmon tree was over there showing out. So I was like, okay, yeah, it's time for me to go ahead and get my persimmon tree planted back up. So yeah, Mr. Bull, you was over there doing it. Those trees did awesome. You did a great job on that and on making your jam. So y'all check out Mr. Bull's garden with his persimmon over in the Bull's garden with his persimmon tree and that persimmon jam. Okay, so even though this soil is moist, I'm still gonna put some water around the root ball of this plant to get this plant to settle into this soil right here. And since this tree is the only thing that needs to get watered, I'm just gonna pour some water in with my watering can. Let this water soak into the ground to get this tree established. And we're gonna move to another area of the garden and plant some hyacinth bulbs. An update on what the plants are looking like inside the house. I got my fan blowing on the plant, and they are really growing really good. This is the amaryllis that I planted with you all, and it has grown tremendously in the last week. Also, we have some sweet banana peppers that have grown. These are the same cayenne peppers. Have a couple of them on this plant. These plants, these are all pepper plants, and they have grown a lot. There is one purple bell pepper. This plant, Tiny Tim tomato plant has one ripe tomato on it. This is a shishito pepper right here. It is loaded with flowers, so it's going to be making us some peppers real soon. Update on the vanilla bean. I still have not up-potted it. I started a second amaryllis plant right here, and it has grown a lot. It's only been planted for about a week, and it has grown a lot. And this is how much our lavender plants have grown, and it makes a huge difference on how soon you up-pot the lavender. I did not up-pot the lavender. I did not up-pot these lavender plants when I up-potted these, and you can see the difference in the size. So it makes a big difference on getting those plants up potted. They'll go ahead and grow faster once they're up potted. And here is an update on my sourdough starter. Y'all, I have started this sourdough starter over 3 times. And this time, I think I may be going to get a starter. This is my 4th day. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to divide this up. You can see it has some nice bubbles in it. I'm going to take part of this starter out, discard it, and I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of wheat flour and 1/2 cup of water. And make sure that your water is warm. I found that it helps to use warm water. I think that is part of the problem with my other starters. It was too cool in the house and the temperature was not right. I did some research and found that you can sit your starter on a heat mat, but I don't think that it's that serious. I don't think that it's going to come to that. Just add some warm water to the starter instead of using cold tap. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to feed my starter now, and I'm going to sit it back up, and then we'll be ready to start on day 5. And y'all, we are going to make some sourdough bread. If I didn't want this sourdough bread really bad, I would have just said forget it. But if you are really serious about making your own homemade sourdough bread, go ahead and try to continue your starter. If you mess up, if the starter does not survive, go ahead and start over and be on the lookout. Sometimes the starter will get a liquid on top of it, and that is a hooch. If your starter gets a hooch, you can go ahead and discard. You can pour that out with your discard, or you can just stir it up in there, and that's just going to add to the sourness of your sourdough bread if you want a more sour sourdough bread. But if your sourdough starter has any green on top of it, go ahead and discard your starter, because that means that it is not any good. Also, if something gets in it, go ahead and discard it. And the last starter that I discarded, I went ahead and I changed the container that I had it in, because I had a slit in my lid and I wanted a complete cover. And so this is why I'm using, this is just a coffee filter and a rubber band that I'm using to cover my starter. So y'all, don't give up on your starters. If your starter does not do well at first, go ahead, start over on your starter, and just keep trying until you get a good starter that you can go ahead and make some sourdough bread. And you can see this starter is doing really good because it has those bubbles in it that you want to see in your healthy starter. And I like to use a fork to mix mine. I just use one of my plastic forks, and also using the wheat flour to feed my starter, because I researched it and found out that if you want that more sourdough taste, that is what you need to use, either that wheat flour or a rye flour. You can also use all-purpose flour. Okay, so now we're ready to start day 5, y'all. Day 5. Okay, this grown-up container is what I'm going to be planting my hyacinth bulbs in. I could find another container, but this is the one that I want to put them in. It already has some dianthus in it, and as you can see, it's peeping out, but it's covered with weeds. The dianthus reseeds themselves, and they continue to grow in this container and all over the garden, and wherever they grow, I let them continue to grow as long as they're not growing with food. I keep the food separate from any plants that are toxic, and dianthus is a toxic plant, which is also called sweet William. So I like to keep them in a separate type container that I know these ones I do not plant food in. But this container has a lip on it. This is what I call a lip on this container. I don't really like containers that has this lip on it, because things can hide underneath that lip. Things like wasps, spiders, and even one of those slithery critters can hide underneath there. So I really don't like these kind of containers, and I try not to get them into my garden as much as possible. But this container got slipped in on me, and it is one that does have that lip on it. I'm going to go ahead and work with it. So I'm going to take a quick look around this container to make sure that it does not have anything in it. Just kind of investigate it through here. You want to make sure that you look in and look good, because there are things in the garden that can hurt you. So make sure that you take a good look, check your pots, your planters, before you are working in them and planting them up. All right, hopefully my tripod will remain where it is because it's kind of on one today where it's kind of doing what it want to do. But I'm going to start with these tools right here. As I said, I am not going to be pulling this dianthus up by the root. I'm just going to be cutting it off at the top and also these other weeds that's in here. So I will still have dianthus growing back in this container. Oops, forgot I had some irrigation in this bed, so the irrigation got cut up. So I'll have to be adding more irrigation. But that really couldn't be helped because I didn't want to dig in this bed looking for the irrigation before I had established what else was in this bed as far as critters go. So the irrigation will be fine. There's the line. So the only thing I have to do is just add some more irrigation to that line. I'm going to be planting the hyacinth about 6 inches deep in this bed. And that's to protect them during this winter. These spiders coming out. Okay, there's some more beds over here. There's some more containers over here that are going to be getting cleaned out also. But right now, we're just working on this container to get these hyacinths planted, and then we'll come back later and clean these other beds out. Okay, and there's my irrigation line. And I'm just going to use these shears to kind of get me some depth into this container. But as I said, we want to be 6 inches deep. And if you're using a container that's already been used, that might mean taking out some of the soil that you got in here already. And this here soil is pretty compacted. So that's why I'm having to really get down in here and use this tool. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my shovel and take out some of this soil. And there are a lot of taproot that are in this bed also. Okay, so that is what we want to get. We want to get 6 inches of depth in this container so I'll be able to protect those hyacinth bulbs from the freezing temperature. So I have about 6 inches in here now. Next, I'm going to be applying some rose tone, rose and flower food to this bed. I'm going to work this fertilizer into my soil. And here are my hyacinth bulbs. And the hyacinth bulbs are like the other bulbs. You're going to put that flat side down and the pointy side up. And as I told you all before, when you're planting them in containers, you can get away with planting them closer together than you can when you're planting them in ground. So I'm going to go ahead and place all of these into this bed. Got one that wasn't any good. The ones that's not any good, go ahead and throw them away because they're not going to do anything but draw pests to your bed. That's a rotting bug right there. So all of the rotting bugs, go ahead and dispose of them. Okay, once you have all of the pointed sides up and the flat sides down, you can go ahead and fill in with some potting soil or some compost. Okay, so I'm just going to be covering the bulbs with some compost. Make a good soil to bulb contact by pushing my soil down on top of my bulbs. Okay, I'm gonna add a thick layer of mulch for added protection. Drop in my label and water it in. Harvest some of these jalapeno peppers. Eggplants. Purple bell peppers. Just go ahead and get these because the temperatures might get too cold for them. I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and get them just in case. Zulu peppers. More jalapenos. Now we might be getting enough jalapenos to make some more pepper jelly because pepper jelly is going fast. Matter of fact, I had some requests for some pepper jellies and I couldn't fulfill all my requests. So I might be able to fulfill, well, I still won't be able to fulfill them, but I might be able to at least get another half a dozen jars. Cayenne peppers right here that needs to be harvested. These are some of those giant jalapeno peppers. Y'all, it's getting dark, and I really need to do some more harvesting. It's an eggplant right here. I'll give this one to the chickens. Harvest some kale for a kale slaw. I may make this kale slaw with you all, I'm not sure. This is my kale for my kale slaw. Okay, this is the spinach that we recently planted. It has germinated. The butter crunch lettuce has germinated. The romaine is germinating. Have small germination on romaine lettuce. And this is the celery that I potted out into the garden. And look how many eggplant we got that are ready to harvest. Got some tomatoes. There are some more right there. And one right here. Got the storage all washed up and ready to go in the refrigerator or the freezer. Got about a pound of jalapeno peppers, some mixed peppers, eggplant, Mr. Healy cabbage, which I'll use as a lettuce, and some Siberian curly kale. And I harvest 3 tomatoes. I'll go back and get the rest of the tomatoes tomorrow. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this video today, that you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And go ahead and hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload a new video. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.